Alright, let's talk about the reasons that Civil War started and shit, you know. Because that happened, and you know, that's what this is all about. Start off, all the way back in like 1850 and shit, we got California trying to come in as a new state, and all the southern states going like, no, fuck that shit. Just coming in on as a free state. It's gonna tip the balance in favor of the free states. Slave states don't have power. And so they're like, shit, guys, we're gonna make a compromise. And you know, what year is it again? It's 1850, Henry Clay. Oh shit, it's 1850. We'll call it the Compromise of 1850. And we're gonna make California in as a free state, make a Fugitive Slave Act, have New Mexico and Utah do like popular sovereignty shit and like take away land from Texas, but also pay off all their debt. And so everybody looked at that and went like, shit, dude, this is a fucking terrible thing. I fucking hate this shit. This doesn't make me happy. It doesn't address my needs. But eventually everybody went like, fuck it. Like, what else are we gonna do? And so boom, get the Compromise of 1850 and shit. Although now there's a stronger Fugitive Slave Act, so like you got people running around in the north, posseing up, grabbing slaves, hauling them back to the south. It's crazy, man. It's got all them abolitionists all riled up and shit. It's fucking crazy. Cause President Fillmore at the time went like, you know what? This is gonna solve everything. Oh no, shit! It's not gonna solve everything. We had the Civil War. You know this. I know this. That happened. Okay. Oh yeah, and also that person named Harriet Beecher Stowe wrote a thing called Uncle Tom's Cabin, and it riled up the abolitionists in the north even more, and it riled up the people in the south going like, what the fuck is this shit? You dare presume you know how slavery works? You've never even been here. What the fuck? Fuck. And so then Stephen Douglas from like Illinois or some shit went like, I want to make a railroad in the middle of all this. And you know what? We're going to need some territory to do that. And you know what? I know just the territories to take. We'll take this unorganized territory, and we're going to call it Kansas and... Wait, no. We're going to call it Nebraska? Nebraska. And we're going to call it Nebraska. And then the slave states were like, well, hold up there, partner. What do you think you're doing? Trying to admit some free shit into the Union? It's like, but here's the thing. We'll split it into Nebraska and Kansas. And we'll allow slavery in them above the Missouri Compromise line. And then it was like, oh shit, motherfucker, you're gonna mess around with the Missouri Compromise? And like, yeah, dude, I fucking want this railroad. He's like, alright, sure. And so they made the KansasNebraska Act, which made Kansas and Nebraska and gave them popular sovereignty over doing slave shit. And yeah. Oh, and like around now, the Republican Party is born. Ooh, crazy. That was pretty cool. Oh yeah, and this guy named Abraham Lincoln is like doing shit now. Like, yeah. And he's like trying to go against Stephen Douglas, who's in the Whig Party. And their coalitions tried to duke it out, but eventually But eventually Douglas won. I mean, that happened. That was okay. That's pretty cool. Although the Republican Party, you know, like became a thing in the North, and it was like becoming super powerful because it took all the people who went like, we gotta abolish slavery and shit, and got them all together in one political party. It was pretty crazy. Yeah. Oh yeah. And so since Kansas was pretty near like both sides started moving into Kansas to try to, you know, do shit, which resulted in a lot of fighting, which made, you know, blood, you know, come out over Kansas, which made it look like it was bleeding. So it was called Bleeding Kansas because of all the fighting. And so two groups of settlers, the pro-slavery and the anti-slavery, came there, and they tried both to make state governments. And eventually the anti-slavery ones failed because it wasn't the official one. But then they eventually just had new elections, which made them the majority in the Congress anyway, so that was the thing. And so, but there was the old pro-slavery guys went off and they tried to make a constitution called the Lecompton Constitution, and as opposed to the Topeka Constitution that was created by the anti-slavery people earlier. But eventually, you know, since most of Kansas was like anti-slavery, they all voted against that shit. And then Congress went like, what the fuck is this shit? This is bullshit. No. Yeah. That was the thing. Oh yeah, and like John Brown did a thing here. Like he came over here and killed people. It was pretty terrifying. And then like in Congress, this guy named Preston Brooks beat up a guy named Charles Sumner with a cane. That was pretty crazy, dude. Oh yeah, and then like Dred Scott versus Sanford happened, and like, wait, what did they say? Let's see. Oh, yeah, the Dred Scott decision was a thing, and then went like, well, because of the Constitution, white people don't gotta respect black people's rights, and so, shit. Even free blacks don't even got the right to have rights. And that was pretty crazy. And so, yeah. Yeah, you can look at the specifics later. You got a Wikipedia and some shit. You can look up that shit. But the end result is everybody's like, "Whoa, motherfucker! Free black people aren't free black people. What the fuck?" And so it was pretty crazy. Okay, what am I talking about now? Oh yeah, the economy's happening. Like, in the north, industrialization's growing even more and more and more, and then there's like railroads going around making trade and shit, and like California's linked to the East Coast because of railroads. It's pretty cool. And like, yeah, it was pretty interesting. But like the South went like, why the fuck I gotta spend money on all these canals and railroads and shit when it's not even helping me? And then the North was like, well, I mean, you're already rich because you have cotton, but what about me? So, yeah. And then there's this thing called the Panic of 1857 because of overabundance of northern wheat, and somehow we were super involved in the world wheat economy, man. Like the world wheat economy. Anyway, end result is all the northern industries got fucked, and they were like, we gotta have tariffs and shit, and we gotta like be able to protect ourselves. And the South was like, why you just gotta raise our prices like this, you bitch? Get it together and get a good economy already. Goddamn, you suck. Oh, and then like Abraham Lincoln and Stephen Douglas debated about shit. Oh, and like Abraham Lincoln made a house divided against itself cannot stand, or something like that. I don't know the exact quote. And like they were all fighting by words over all the shit that's going on. And like, yeah. And even though Lincoln lost the campaign for senator in the end, it did kind of, the whole debates thing kind of catapulted him into the national spotlight. He was like, shit, I might have a chance at the presidency. Wink. Wink. Oh yeah. And like, oh yeah, and John Brown did the Harpy's Ferry terrorist attack, and then he got arrested because it failed miserably, which sucks. And then he got hanged. But then all the northern people that originally thought he was a terrorist too were like, but also he's fighting for slavery, so, you know, I'm gonna sympathize with him now. And then he became a hero to the North, and all the southern people were like, what the fuck? All the North are radical abolitionists. Are you gonna come here and kill us? And, you know, we gotta hide your wife, hide your kids, hide your car keys. I don't know, man. Hide your cotton gins. It's fucking crazy. All these radical abolitionists gonna come down here and gonna start shooting up shit. And so, almost finally, we got the election of 1860. And so, both parties, the Whig and the Democrats, like, fucking split up all over the fucking place. And in the end, we had 4 presidential candidates: Abraham Lincoln, Stephen Douglas, this guy named Breckinridge, okay, you gotta give me a second. Where's his name? Shit. Well, there's that Breckinridge guy and a guy named John Bell, and they all campaigned against each other. But there happened to be more people in the North, and Lincoln happened to be well liked in the North, so he got all them votes. And then the Southern votes were split between Breckinridge, Bell, and a couple of them went to Douglas, who took the rest of the Northern votes that weren't taken by Lincoln, but it wasn't enough. So Lincoln wins the election, and then the South, to them, is like, ah, shit, this guy's gonna come over here and take away all our slaves and shit. Fuck. Peace the fuck out. I'm gonna peace the fuck out of here, bitch. Bye-bye, have a great time. And so South Carolina went like, fuck this shit, I'm out. And then all the other guys in the deep South promptly went, well, fuck this shit, I'm out. I mean, like, this guy even tried to propose a Crittenden Compromise that, like, extended the Missouri Compromise line and protecting slavery in the New Mexico Territory in California, and Lincoln's just like, nah, fam, we're gonna fight this out. Whatever, don't give a shit. And then, like, at Fort Sumter, it was a federal fort, and then South Carolina's like, that shit's ours now. And so they bombed it, and then the people inside the fort surrendered, and they went back home as heroes, and that was the thing. But, you know, that was the first battle of the Civil War. And so, whenever Lincoln's like, alright guys, we gotta get troops to fight the South, the border states South went like, what the fuck, I don't want to get soldiers and shoot up my fellow people in the South. Fuck your shit. And so Virginia, Tennessee, Arkansas, and North Carolina went to the South. Now, Virginia is special because it's got all the good military generals and, like, the factory for making heavy munitions and shit. It was crazy, dude. But Kentucky declared neutrality, which is cool because then that means he could, like, send troops to Kentucky. Delaware also remained loyal to the Union because, I don't know, who gives a shit, it's Delaware. And then Maryland stayed loyal to the Union, which is kind of fucking good because that was the only way to get to Washington, which is kind of important. A little bit. That was, you know, where, you know, capital and the shit was. So yeah. The North was like, let's just kick these guys' ass for a little bit and then they'll just give up. And then the South is like, oh wait, that was what the North said. And then the South is like, these fuckers can't give a fight. We'll just let them try to come over here and then shoot them all down. But they were wrong, and so eventually we got one of the bloodiest wars, if not the bloodiest war in history, which we'll talk about next time. I'm pretty sure. Peace out.